Basically say, I don't know. I need to go ask Hashem. So he goes to Hashem and he asks the question. Hashem says to Moshe something amazing. He says, Cain b'noi Tzalavcha Dovros. The daughters of Tzalavcha are correct, 100%. The law is with them. I see on high, Hashem says, the way the Torah is written in heaven, and then before it's reflected on earth, it's then shadowed, reflected on earth. I see that that's exactly what's written, that the girl should get it if there's no boys. And that's pretty amazing, where she saw even what Moshe didn't sense, I guess, subconsciously, that this should be the law. The daughters were actually correct, which is pretty, these girls were correct, even where Moshe, in a sense, didn't see, they saw. And give them a portion to these girls of their father's property, which would have gone. Now there's actually two, I'm going to say interesting, or two properties here. One is that their father's property should go to them. And also interesting, their father would have not just given them his property, which was right to him because he was part of the original people leaving Egypt, which needed to get the land, but his father too, he would have inherited his father's portion also. So give their grandfather's portion, which would have gone to their father, give it to them, and give the father's portion himself, which he also had rights to by being one of the number of people, how the way the original land was divided between the people who left Egypt. And pass it over, it should pass over to them. So give the girls the two portions. Now Rashi says also interesting, or so in the commentaries here somewhere, that when you're passing over, why is it called not just giving, inheriting, but it's kind of called the word passing over when you're giving a property to a girl. And that's one of the interesting reasons, is because when you have a son literally takes his father's place, because that's one of the answers given. The son literally, whatever was his father, the son just fills into his father's shoes. He has to do all the mitzvahs his father has to do. The girl doesn't have all the mitzvahs that the father had. So it's kind of passing over to the daughter and not going as direct as if when one has a son. Another explanation is that when you inherit your daughter property, in a sense, you could be losing it from the tribe. Why? Because when that girl is going to get married, and if she marries someone else from a different tribe, at least in the generations when the girls will be allowed to marry people from different tribes, then the husband will the son that wife will have might be from a different tribe, and that land won't stay in the original tribe it went to. So it's passing over, when there's no sons, it's passing to the daughters, and it's going to pass over to other tribes by her taking that property, marrying someone from another tribe, and her children then being from a different tribe. The land will then be passed over to the other tribe. But when Israel to davar labor and speak to the Jewish people and say, that's the rule, this is the standard. When a person will die and doesn't have a son, you will pass over the land, then will go to the daughter instead of his son. Because what happens if, God forbid, someone doesn't have children, doesn't have a son or a daughter? Then what do you do? It's the next question with the land. You give it to his brothers. You give the land. Then it goes to the father's brothers. In other words, it never goes to the mother's side of the family. It always goes for inheritance back to the father's side of the family. What happens if the father has no brothers? You give it to the grandfather's brothers. It goes back to the person who passed away's father, his brothers, or if not his father's brothers, and so on. And it stays in the father's side of the family. If the father has no brother, you always give it from the father's side of the family, the closest relative. You keep on going back up to his grandfather, to the great-grandfather, and then he gives it to his cousins or his second cousins or so on from the father's side of the family. And they will inherit it. It will be a statute that Hashem commanded Moshe, that it goes for, in regards to the inheritance, it always goes to the father's side of the family. And that, my friends, is the end of the section of Chumash of today's, of this Chumash. And we're going to continue tomorrow with Moshe passing away. What happens over there?